Hey guys, update here. So GST Council meet on 6 October 2017 for the 22nd meeting, which they took a lot of decision from the point of view of the MSME sector and also for the composition scheme dealer. So they took a lot of really good decision to help out those person who are really confusing or who are really feeling the burden because of the GST. So they took a lot of decision, and the update is divided into three segments. First one for those person who are a composition dealer, second one is from the point of view of the MSME, and third one is the other one. So from the point of view of the composition scheme, so there is a good news. The turnover limit by way of which you can opt or opt for the composition scheme has been now increased. So earlier it was 75 lakh in the preceding financial year. So now the turnover limit has been now increased from 75 lakh rupees to 1 crore. And in case of a J&K and Uttarakhand, my hometown, the turnover limit has also been increased from 75 lakh rupees to 1 crore rupees. And in case of a special categorized states, the turnover limit has been increased from 50 lakh rupees to 75 lakh rupees. So basically turnover limit has been improved. So now you can opt for the composition scheme if your turnover in the preceding financial year is up to 1 crore rupees. But there is also means in that press release there is also clarification, like when you opt for the scheme, then that scheme will be operational with effect from next month, from the month you are opting for the scheme. So suppose for example you are opting today right now and the date is 7th October 2017. So the scheme will be operational from the next month, which is the 1st November 2017. So that scheme will be operational from the first day of the next month in which you opt for the composition scheme. So therefore those person who want to opt for the composition scheme in the month of October, so they become applicable or they become operational with effect from 1st November 2017. Remember that. So how it's gonna work, like what is the meaning of operational? So all the requirement of the act regarding the composition scheme will be operational with effect from 1st November 2017. For example, issuing the bill of supply instead of tax invoice. So because earlier you were a regular taxpayer because your turnover was like 80 lakh rupees in the preceding financial year, so you could not opt for the composition scheme. But now increase the turnover limit has been increased from 75 lakh rupees to 1 crore, and now you want to opt for the composition scheme because your turnover in the preceding financial year was 80 lakh rupees. Now you want to opt for the scheme. So earlier up to this date you were issuing the tax invoice, but now from this stage forward, like you are opting for composition scheme, so from 1st November 2017 you have to issue the bill of supply, and all the provision of the GST Act will be applicable on you from the point of view of the composition dealer with effect from 1st November 2017 or the first day of the next month in which you want to opt for the composition scheme. And also there is also clarification, like if you want to opt for the composition scheme and because you know that the provision will be applicable from first day of the next month, so up to the previous month you have to file your monthly return, like you want to opt for the scheme and up to 31st October 2017 you have to file monthly return, like GSTR 123 and GSTR 3B you have to file monthly return up to 31st October, and from the month in which you want to opt for the composition scheme, like 1st November 2017 you can file the quarterly return. So like for those guys who want to opt right now, they have to file the monthly return up to October, and then they can file the quarterly return, which is GSTR 4. So how it's gonna work, like for your quarter October, November, December, because you have already filed the monthly return for the month of October, so while filing the GSTR 4 for the quarter October, November, December, don't give the data of October into that GSTR 4 because you have already filed a monthly return regarding those. So therefore if you want to opt, then those scheme will be like those return, you have to file those return for the means quarter, for the quarter, like 3 months in a quarter. So just fill the data of 2 months because you have already submit the return for the month of October. So that's how it's gonna work. And also there's very interesting news, that earlier those person who are composition scheme want to offer the composition scheme, they couldn't offer the composition scheme because they were supplying the exempted service also. So because if you are supplying any type of service, you cannot offer the composition scheme. Even if like you are receiving the bank interest from the bank, from the deposit in bank, then also you could not able to offer the scheme because it was the service. Therefore in the press release it is said like, if you are supplying the exempted service and you are otherwise eligible to offer the composition scheme, then you can offer the composition scheme. So there is exemption like exempted service if you are supplying the goods and your turnover is up to the threshold limit, and you are also supplying the exempted service, then you can also offer the composition scheme. So big news for those who are confusing or they couldn't able to offer the scheme because of this. And there are also clause like they want to also make more attractive the composition scheme. So they will think about it in the future like how the scheme can be more attractive. So I think there is another clause in the composition scheme like if you are dealing in interstate supply, then you want to offer the then you cannot offer the composition scheme. They can remove that point from it because that is a really means everybody or everyone can make the interstate sale even once or twice in a month. So therefore I think for attracting or for making the more attractive scheme, they can remove those clauses. That is the point of view of the composition scheme. So now from the point of view of MSME sector, so GST Council really heard the voice of the people who are really thinking like GST is a joke because their problem is not solving from the GST and the burden on them is really huge. So they took a lot of good decisions. So the first decision they take is that if you are a service provider and you are supplying the interstate taxable supply, so if your aggregate turnover in this year is less than 20 lakh rupees, but in case of a special category state 10 lakh rupees, then you don't need to register yourself under GST. So now you are a service provider and you are making the interstate taxable supply and your turnover is up to 20 lakh rupees in this year. So no need to register under GST, remember that. And one thing very important, this thing is like no registration in case of an interstate supply is only for the service provider, not from the angle of supplier of goods. So if you are supplying of goods, you are making or supplying the goods to the another state, so you have to get yourself registered is in case your supply is interstate. Very good decision from the point of view of service provider, but still those one who are a supplier of goods, still they have to register in case they are making the interstate taxable supply. Next one, that they have given you the option, or if your annual aggregate turnover is up to 1.5 crore, then you can file the return on the quarterly basis. So this facility of making or filing the return in the quarterly basis will be filled in GSTR 1, 2 and 3, not in GSTR 4 like in case of a composition dealer. So your form is GSTR 1, 2 and 3, annual aggregate turnover up to 1.5 crore rupees, then you can file the monthly return. But how this gonna work? So monthly return facility will be available from October, November, December quarter. So from this quarter like October, November, December, you can file the monthly return. And what about the previous month? So for the previous month you have to file monthly GSTR 1, 2 and 3 as usual. So like up to the September you have to file your monthly GSTR 1, 2, 3. And also when you you have to file the quarterly return, then those person who are the buyer from you can take the input tax credit monthly. So like I am a supplier, I am opting or I am required to file quarterly return. Then those person who are buying from you is a registered person, then they can take the input tax credit on the monthly basis. But how this is gonna work? Maybe they can take the input tax credit on a monthly basis by way of manually adding those supply, because you are filing the quarterly return, then obviously that will not be reflected into GSTR 2A of the buyer. So how will it go? They can manually add up those detail of input tax credit, and that will be matched in the next quarter, I think. So that's how it's gonna work. But there is still means there can be a lot of challenge in the future, like how this is gonna process, and also how the buyer can take input tax credit, because those credit will obviously be mismatched in the return, because you know that the supplier is filing the return on the quarterly basis, buyer taking the input tax credit on the monthly basis. How it's gonna process, we will see it when we will see the those type of thing. And also one more thing, like yes, you have to file the quarterly return from October, November, December onward, but up to December 2017 you have to anyway file GSTR 3B. So like your option to file the quarterly return is there with you, but you have to anyway file the GSTR 3B up to December 2017. So remember that. So how this is gonna work? So you have to file the monthly return GSTR 1, 2, 3 for July, August, September, and then for October, November, December GSTR 1, 2, 3 will be quarterly basis, but GSTR 3B will be filled up to December 2017 anyway. So remember that, that's how it's gonna work. So that is you can say a really interesting one. And the next one, exemption for the reverse charge category. So like reverse charge under section 9 subsection 4, where you are purchasing from the unregistered person. So now if you are purchasing from unregistered person, those reverse charge cases has been suspended till the March 2018. So it is very good news. So now if you are purchasing from unregistered person, no need to pay tax under reverse charge, and no need to say to that person that register under GST, otherwise I will not buy the goods. So therefore big relief, big relief, big relief. So and also one more thing, like if you have paid the tax for the month of like August or September, like if you are planning to file your return for the month of September, so you now, because you know that that option is now means the GST Council took the decision on the October. So while filing the return for the month of September, I will suggest you that don't pay the tax on the reverse charge cases. So for the month of September, huge relief, and for the month of August, because you might have already paid the tax, so therefore no need to revise or no need to do anything. But for the month of September, don't pay it. The next one is that those person who are like annual turnover up to 1.5 crore rupees, then again your big relief is that you don't need to pay tax under the GST in case of advances. So now, because you know under advances you have to pay tax under reverse charge, in case of advances you have to pay tax when you receive the advances. But if your annual aggregate turnover up to 1.5 crore rupees, don't need to pay tax under the advances received. This is also a big relief, big relief. And next one is regarding the GTA. So whenever the GTA was providing the service to unregistered individual, so GTA was saying that register, otherwise I will not deliver the goods to you, because in those cases GST have to itself pay the tax. So GTA was not providing the service to the unregistered individual, because in those cases GTA have to himself pay the tax. But now those GTA who are supplying the service to unregistered person, unregistered any person, unregistered person, then it is completely exempt under GST. So big relief for those persons who are really thinking like I am not unregistered, then the GTA is not providing the service to us. Now GTA is providing the service to the unregistered person, exemption. Now the other relief. So the first relief is that the TDS and TCS provision has been deferred till the March 2018. So big relief for those persons who are making the supply from the electronic commerce like Flipkart, Amazon or eBay. So because TDS provision, TCS provision has now been deferred, so big relief. Second relief is that EWAY bill has been now deferred till March 2018. So again big relief, because you know EWAY bill is also a challenge to some person. And also return for the quarter, like return GSTR 4 return from the point of view of the composition dealer has now due date has also been increased, and the due date, revised due date is 15th November 2017. So big relief for those persons who are a composition dealer and want to file the return. And also they are making small or little bit of changes into the invoicing rule. I don't know about it, like what the changes will be there, but there is a changes. So that's how the complete provision or complete changes or council meeting decision was that. So also there is also notification regarding the point of view of the exporter. Now they don't need to file the bond. Instead of bond, they can easily offer the LUT option. So we will discuss it into our next video. So if you want to also check it out those videos, then click white here, and if you want to subscribe it, then click white here. And for your record, I also made another channel regarding the Indias by 7. Subscribe it, also watch it. Really cool channel. Subscribe it. Alright guys, so now we will meet again in the next video. Till then, bye bye.